The views expressed in this presentation are expressly those of the presenter and do not reflect the official policy or position of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, the United States Air Force, Department of Defense, or United States government.
Is there one quote that especially calls out to you or even resonates for you, whether it's like your ethnic background, your gender, religion, or even your family?
Of course. But first, let me do my thing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening worldwide. You are now listening to the hottest. We, the Rebel Nation, the Revolution, and the Revolt. And me, the most hype of them all, Christian, the hype man Sledge, live from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And we got a spot all up in your multimedia systems. Today is a good day, you guys. It's a day that we are actually conscious and still on this planet. So make sure you understand that some people were supposed to get up and they did not get up. Some people had things to do today and they cannot get to them. Be appreciative, be grateful, as I always try to say, okay? Despite whatever's going on. Today, I want to talk to you guys about organizations, change, and just expectations. And we always talk about expectations, and I want to really zoom in on that because all the other elements come as a result of it. I was in class the other day and I was teaching, and we got into a heated debate on simplicity and where this unit and organization is going as the new leaders are about to start taking over the unit. And as I'm facilitating this thing, we hit a major problem that we have to figure out as an organization what we stand for. And in our 20 years of inception, the cadet wing has not figured quite out what they stand for. Each wing commander came with their new, what they thought it should be. And that's fine. Those are where visions and themes come from. But what is the vision and theme aligning to? And that is where the dilemma happened. And we got to the point where we were like, okay, do we need to review these things? Do we need to change these things? Do we need to modify these things? Because if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. And we had noticed that throughout the years, we were falling for things that we normally don't fall for. And there were some people that said, but that should be natural. Like folks should naturally understand that. It should be intuitive. And I had to break it down a little bit and say, yes, that you're right. Some things are super intuitive. They should know better in theory, right? But people have different upbringings. People have different baselines. People have different tolerance thresholds. People are different. The people factor is what's doing it. We're not computers. Computers say enter password. If you put 12345 and the password is 12345, it's going to let you through. If it's the password's 12346 and you put 12345, it is not going to let you through. That threshold is 0. That is not standard. So what you need to understand is people make the exception. People say, well, you meant 5 or you meant 6, so you're good to go. And that's where the struggle begins. People don't understand that threshold is created by people. So in this aspect, computers can be better than people. So all we were trying to get back to where we were, we're trying to create the organization's standards. We have the Air Force's standards. Of course, we have the core values, integrity, service, excellence. Yes. And that creates good airmen, guardians, military members. And if it happens to create good people, then yes, you would think it does. You would think these things would create good people. However, sometimes we have bad airmen. We have bad guardians that do not so great things. And you say, well, isn't the core value supposed to do? Yes, it does, but people still have different thresholds. So how do you counter that is the question. So fortunately here in any organization, if you look at the the business's true bylaws, documents, their founding documents. You can look at this country's founding documents, and you'll see that, yes, they have this long, huge constitution that says, here's who we are right up front. Here's how these things work. This is where the boat is going, no matter who's in charge, no matter what we're doing, no matter what's going on. The boat is always going in this direction. And then you'll still see, after they created that document, they'll see that, man, we didn't quite hit certain things. We missed some things, some obvious things, some things that they're implied, but they have to be written on paper. Otherwise, people will just do whatever they want. If you don't make a decision, someone else will make a decision for you because they've interpreted differently and they don't have your clear expectations. That even happened during the Constitutional Convention, where they created the Constitution, but then they realized, oh man, this looks like this. What's going to make it different? How do we stop the thing that happened from the king? How do we stop that and make sure that doesn't happen again? We got to create amendments. We got to create different outs. They're connected, but we have to create something so people can see it on paper, what their true rights are, what the true amendments are. Hence you get the amendments. Hence you get freedom of religion, freedom of speech. We outlawed slavery, right? Things like that, right? The Second Amendment, right to bear arms, right? We all know those. We might not know what that Constitution is because it's so big and it's simple, but it's long. Most people, swear to support and defend the Constitution, but have no idea what's on it. But they know some of those amendments because that more so guides their everyday life. So I would encourage any organization to, yes, you're supposed to have your Constitution. It says how this leadership runs. It says it in great detail, how it runs. If you execute it, they learn that way too. Okay. But in supplement to that, because it's the bylaws and the Constitution doesn't quite cover everything, as you learn where the holes are, you supplement with those amendments, those modifications, those rules of engagement. Hey, in addition to this, here's some very super simple things that you need to know. This is how we expect our people to be, and let them know what they can do, what they have a right to do when they're in your organization. Otherwise, people don't know what they can do. They're afraid to talk. They're afraid to step up to the plate and hold people accountable. I feel that there's two reasons why that exists. One, so that the leadership can talk to the followers, and two, so that the followers can talk to the leaders. Okay. So when the leaders are doing wrong, because sometimes leaders get it wrong, the followers can literally look at the same bylaws. They can look at the same Constitution. They can look at the same amendments and say, hey, wait a minute. This is what this says. And I don't feel like I'm getting that from you. They get a platform to speak. They get Thor's hammer, and they're able to control the energy and not be rude and disrespectful. These are the rules that you guys made. So I'm going to hold you accountable. So that changes the climate on which you live in, because everybody is holding each other accountable. And now there's something physical. There's a manifestation. There's something tangible holding you accountable, and everybody's on it. That's not the culture that we have seen. There's a lot of hesitation, and we determined that was why. So I just want you guys to understand that every organization has bylaws and constitutions of how it runs, regardless of who's running it. Now, that person who's running it can change certain things. They say, I understand that the theme is so that others may live. What that means to me is a little different. So, but this is what it means to me. At the end of the day, it's this. But let me kind of calibrate a little bit and say, this is where I want to go while I'm in command. And as long as you're following that strategic objective, then everybody will follow, if that makes sense. So keep in mind, any organization you join, if it's a supplemental of another organization, like a sub-organization, for example, ROTC is a supplement of the United States Air Force, then you're going to have to learn what the Air Force's core values and constitutions are and their bylaws, as well as the local laws that are under the subunit. You're going to have to learn those too. And together that makes the culture, the execution as you executing it, which creates the climate in which everybody follows in your everyday life. So my challenge to you is to look those things up demand those things. You have to demand those. What are my expectations in my everyday life? Because if you don't make a decision for me, I'm going to interpret what that is, and I'm going to do it. And you can't be 100% mad at me because you didn't lay out those expectations. So read those bylaws, read those expectations, demand understanding. And if you need to make changes because something's not clear, then leadership should be open to saying, you know what, you're right. Let's make that perfectly clear, because this is the kind of person we want to see at the end of the day. I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to get on that platform and create something that you guys all can stand on, because remember, if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for anything. All right, let's go. Let's get it.
Listening to the For the People Hypercast show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to turn up your multimedia systems all the way up. This is for the soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, guardians, civilian, contractors, past and present, anyone in between. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope show to step to. So this show is for you. Lights are still on, which means we have something to be thankful for. Welcome the challenges before you. Harness the heat and the gravity that come with it. And you'll see in the end, it was all worth something. Lastly, do not forget that people are watching you. Hey, I heard this the other day. My mentor called out and said, if your presence doesn't make an impact, your absence won't make a difference. And that is exactly why we do this show, to make a positive impact. I thank God and the universe for my health and my resources to be able to do this. As long as we have health and we have faith in the universe, we can make it through any challenge. So get your priorities straight, secure the bag, Christian the Hype Man Sledge as your host. But of course, this is nothing without the crew that has joined us today. We got some special folk out here today, ready to give you guys this knowledge. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce them. Man, first, my man, Creech Air Force Base, ACMS. I got Master Sergeant Justin Stack. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? I'm glad to be
All
here.
right, cool. That's good.
Thank you.
All right. Of course, we got the original member today that's leading and represent everybody today. We got Cadet Wade out there. What's going on, man?
Yeah, buddy. Just one more. You know me, sitting in the gym as usual, living off protein, man.
All right. And then we got, of course, guest star today, guest co-host. All right. Our 100, we have Cadet Dylan Ulrich. What's going on, man?
What's up, y'all? Hope y'all are having a great afternoon or a blessed day.
All right, cool. So it's time to stop stalling and let's get to balling and secure the bag here. So, Cadet Wade, man, what's up with your crew, man? Where they at, man? They're supposed to be here working. They just not present. Where are they at?
Oh, geez. You know, I would love to have an answer for you. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's a lot of the people that are on the podcast are getting towards the end of the semester, and some of them are seniors and they're about to graduate, and I guess you could say they're taking a little terminal leave. They're vacations, chilling on the weekend with the fam. But I mean, it takes man hours to run the podcast, so we didn't give them a little slack, but they'll be back. They'll be ready to rock and roll.
Hey, retired on active duty. They rode. Anyway. Okay. All right. So, Wade, you asked us to do it a little bit different today. A lot of people don't believe some of the stories that I have out here when I tell them. In lieu of, you kind of just telling me what's on your mind, kind of want to know what's going on in our mind. So a lot of people don't know, me and Sergeant Stack go way back like Cadillac seats. All right. So he's still at Creech. Yeah. And, I'll be at Nellis, but like we first met at the 30th Reconnaissance Squadron at Creech back in, was that 2011, something of that nature, 2012? Yeah.
2012.
Yep. He had just got there, and then we had deployed together, and we went over there, across the water to the desert. And Wade was like, hey, man, can you guys give us a story, right? Give us a story. So, we out, I'll give him a story. So we were out there in Afghanistan, man, and we used to play bingo, and there's a lot of things that we used to do out there. We stay up late, sleepless nights out there in Afghanistan. Most of the time, that's our fault. Oh, yeah. That was on us, man. There's one time I was in there, it was bingo night, and we got down with bingo night religiously. Like, we went over there and won like all kinds of real AFES prizes and AFES gift cards and things. I got a whole new Wii U with the gift cards. Anyway.
They even use those anymore? I don't think Wii's a thing.
I know, right? It's kind of end of life, right? Did I give you my Wii U, Justin? I'm pretty sure I gave you that. I gave you one of them.
You probably still playing it. You probably just got done playing with it before we got along.
Yeah. So anyway, we're getting ready for bingo night. So I was like, man, let me go ahead and get my haircut. And so I went over there. So I need a haircut. So I went over there to the little shop or whatever. And right in the middle of my afro, man, just the power the base power just went out. Like, it was like, wait, what? And this dude did not have a battery operated set of clippers. This dude was using the wall power, so he couldn't finish my hair. And I was like, he's like, you have to come back tomorrow. I was like, what? I was like, are you serious with this? And they were like, I don't know what to tell you. There's no generators around here. And I was like, man. So first thing I went over to the Justin. I said, yo, Stack, man. Look at this, man. And you can see he laughing right now because he remembers. I said, Justin, man, I can't go to bingo like this. It's a man. Nobody tripping about that, man. Nobody tripping about that. Just go in there with your hat on. Who cares? Like, I said, Justin, I can't do that, man. Can't disobey 3620.
It was bad.
Okay, so after all these years, now you admit it was bad. But back then, you were like, nah, it ain't that bad.
You had half the answers.
No, ain't that bad. You look great, man. We gonna go to bingo tonight. You gonna rock that.
Yeah. So, but back then I swear up and down, he was trying to convince me. He's like, man, it's fine. It's fine, man. Ain't nobody gonna notice that. You all right. He was like, man, this is a half-row, bro. This is not going to work. So needless to say, I did not go. And then like first thing smoking, like I'm not even a morning person. At least I wasn't back then. 07, I was up. I was like, dude, you guys got to work this. Like you got to get this up. And they fixed it that day. But a lot of good memories out of hard times in Afghanistan. I celebrated with this person. Yeah. Sergeant Stack is a calm person by trade. And I was a sensor operator at the time, but I used to let him hook on my crew rest, right? I was supposed to get crew rest.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, don't call him, man.
Took advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm crew rest. I'm crew calm. I was like, stop. Because you set off all the comms for me so I could fly my mission. So it was good times in Afghanistan. Again, a lot of sleepless nights. But most of that time was that playing Skyrim. It was crazy out there, man.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of times this dude showed me all kinds of, I was like, I didn't know you could do that.
But
But shit's like, nah, it's
100% on
easy.
the other scrolls.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Those are good times. But what I want to tell you, Wade and Ulrich, is the deployments are tough. They can be tough sometimes. And they're in places, of course, you don't want to be. But it's literally the people you're around that makes it worthwhile. I enjoyed that tour so much in Afghanistan, just because I had this dude. And my crew was solid. Like, a solid crew will get you through. And it only takes one to mess it up for everybody else. But my crew was solid and we had a really good time there. So when you guys get out there, when you guys start flying and all that stuff like that, you got to do the old tried and trusted. Like, hey, we're about to deploy. Who all going to be there? It's like, you got to ask them, who all going to be there? All right, cool. That person's cool. All right, cool. Oh, that person's going to be there? Oh, man. You know what I mean?
I ask that question every time I step out the house.
Yeah, you want to go to this party? Exactly. The deployment is just like a party. Like, who all going to be there? So, yeah, so you can mentally prepare. So, we had a good time out there, man. But yeah, but now we had a good time. It was a really good time.
It's all about the brothers and sisters next to you that make the mission work.
Indeed. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So with that being said, we'll go ahead and pivot to the next thing I got for you guys. So later on, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some news articles, but I'll give you a preview of what's coming up. Air Force fires the commander of Holloman's maintenance group. The cold weather pay offered to incentivize assignments to specific bases. From the Air University, Barnes Center is sending a reminder for PT uniform noncompliance that could send you home from any kind of professional military education. And lastly, the last article I'm going to go over with you guys later on is, of course, Air Force ROTC's officer enrollment allocations dropped. We'll drop the statistics later on. But first, I want to warm you guys up, you cadets up, with some cadre cadet exchange questions. So how this is going to go, I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to ask Ulrich here, since he's the baby. I'm going to ask Ulrich a question from the field. Let's see if he knows the answer. If he doesn't know the answer, then we'll pass it to Wade. Wade might be able to add some substance. And if we can't answer that from that point, then Master Sergeant Stack and myself will answer the question. It's a general question. All right, you guys ready?
Let's get it.
Yeah. All right, cool. So question 1, I'm currently an AS-200 contracted cadet who just found out through my advisor that I can graduate a year early with my bachelor's and get my master's degree within the same allotted time. I told the Air Force I would get my bachelor's. Is this possible? And would my scholarship be allowed during grad school? Ulrich, what do you think?
I've heard mixed opinions on this. I've heard of cases where people graduate before like their contracting time is supposed to be up, because I know we're supposed to have either the 4 or 5 year, depending on what degree we're getting. And I've heard of some cases where some people come in as like a 250 or whatever, like, hey, I can graduate within this time, but my contract extends upon that. So I've heard where they need to come back and get their master's to finish their contract. So I suppose it would be the scenario where if they finish their bachelor's and if they could finish their master's within that 1 year time, then I could see it being possible from what I have heard.
Okay. Wait, what you think?
Yeah, that's got some part to do with, I mean, the way it was explained to us in class is when you get contracted or you get your EA, you're basically, co-signing a date on the calendar with Uncle Sam saying that you will commission on this date. And it's very unfavorable to move it either forward or backward. However, it is doable to move it forward or backward with waivers from, higher headquarters and stuff. But in regards to the scholarship question of that, I may be wrong, but I believe the scholarship does end once the bachelor's degree is obtained. And then the master's, you are on your own for. But if you, you run to the graduation date, you are still being.
Yes. So between the two, you guys pretty much got the answer right. So if that was a scenario that somebody gave to us, they're contracted, we would need evidence that that was the case via the 48. That's the academic plan that says, yep, the career advisor said that this is possible. We don't care. The big Air Force does not care about what degrees you have, as long as you have the degree, like a degree by the time you projected to graduate. They don't care how many you have in between. So if you happen to get your bachelor's before and then transition to a master's program while you're still waiting for your the correct fiscal year, then the Air Force doesn't care. I expected Airman Snuffy or Cadet Snuffy at this time. I have them at this time. So if you happen to get a bachelor's and a master's during that time, who cares? Right? Yeah. As long as you got that bachelor's, we're good. So yes, the answer is
that's
yes.
That's a good question. We would have for any of the enlisted folk out there that maybe they're using TA and stuff and they've already got a bunch of credits and they're wondering, oh, can I still join ROTC? I mean, that's your route right there.
Yep. So that you guys answered that question. And of course, Wade, you answered the question, would my scholarship be allowed during grad school? No. At this time, only undergraduate degrees in Air Force ROTC are authorized. All right. So that person, what would you advise, both of you guys, what would you advise that person if they wanted to get funding for their master's program, if they go that route? What would you give them?
You want to take this one first, Wade?
All right. I would, if they were, set on the route, I would advise them to obviously join, right? Because the earlier you start, the better you are. And then, deal with getting the bachelor's and all that, but start formulating that plan to what master's are you going to get? How's it going to translate to maybe your AFSC or maybe not your AFSC? Maybe it transfers to a career that you're looking to get after your ADSC is finished and you did your 4 years and you want to, continue your career in the civilian sector. But I would definitely point them towards some of the resources because at UNLV, we have a lot of graduate program scholarships. I mean, I get emails from this program every week asking me, sign up. All you have to do is apply. And we'll give you a $5,000 scholarship. And I'm like, dang, all I got to do is apply. You don't give me money for this. And even the College of Economics is asking me to get a master's degree. And first of all, wow, me, I'm good. But there's so many out there that, there's a will and there's a way. And whoever's planning to go through that path will be successful.
Cool. So I think so. I think that would be the advice I would give too. If you want to pursue that, if you don't want to stretch out your bachelor's degree and be funded the entire time, fine. At the end of the day, you're the one making the decision. My job is to give you the advice. So, but if you want to do graduate, understand that that's not funded. You got to find the funding. So start looking for that resourcing right now so that you can go where you want to go and come out with 2 degrees, but just understand the Air Force is not paying for it while you're in ROTC. There's a lot of other graduate programs through AFIT and all that stuff, but it sounds like you just want to do it right here. So you got to fund it yourself. Rebel vets, things like that can how to help you point you in the right direction. So yeah, you guys got the advice. Pretty good. All right. You guys ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Gonna need you guys. This one's gonna need some advice from you guys. So unfortunately, just got called in by Cadre this morning, letting me know that due to a very extremely mild peanut allergy, I cannot be medically cleared. Even did the test which proved that I had a non-serious to even no reaction at all to peanuts. Feeling incredibly depressed just because it's been an uphill battle for me to adjust to ROTC lifestyle, and having spent time working on my physical health through this program, I just feel empty now. But yeah, that's my rant. I was looking forward to improving my physical health and coming back stronger to finally compete for an EA, but I guess some things aren't meant to be. Wish y'all the best who are working towards EAs and AFSCs. My question for you, Ulrich, if you were cadre, given your experience, what advice would you give that person? They just dropped that on you.
That's a tough one, especially having to be dropped from such a major thing they've been working so hard toward for something as simple as an allergy. But I know the DONMER board takes things very seriously, and they want to ensure that you're safe medically, of course, but that they also can meet the medical standards for the Air Force itself, the Big Blue and all that. But I would say for having worked so hard towards that and how to allocate that emotionally, I would say it's still possible to meet their dreams of maybe being in the military. They might not just be able to do it through the ROTC route. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to put this, because I could be wrong, or it could be somewhat accurate, but I know you could probably allocate some more. They can still do the physical fitness, and it's not like you can't have your friends that are still in ROTC and work out together and do PT and all that. I mean, sure, you wouldn't be able to get the EA and you wouldn't be able to commission through ROTC and all that, but you could possibly maybe even still enlist or go that way and then do OTS, which I don't know what the procedures for OTS are. But it's a difficult situation, and it truly is unfortunate. And to whoever that is, I truly am sorry to hear that. Man, that's truly a deep thought.
Yeah, it is. Wade, what do you got? Like, you got to give this kid some advice. He just sat down in your office. This is the stuff that we deal with every day. This kid just gave you something pretty heavy. You got to give him something, right? Wade, what would you tell him?
Yeah, but just to refresh me, was he downward dropped, or is he in the process? And he's like unclear, but he's going through waves and stuff.
He cannot continue. He's being dropped due to a peanut allergy. DONMER done.
Okay. Well, if I was, cadre, and I was his AFAS or commander or whatever, I would rewind the clock a little bit, and with all of my cadets, I would talk to them all during their midterm counselings or whatever about a plan B. Even my number one cadet, the one who, the arrow shooting straight for him, and there's no way the target's going to miss. I'm talking about the plan B with all of them, and determining what their overall goals are in life that they're trying to hit by joining AFROTC and the military itself. So, understanding maybe this cadet's goal is not to be a fighter pilot or whatever, but maybe he just wants to make a certain amount of money and have a stable job in life to where he can support his family. Maybe that's his goal. And if he's come to me and talk to us about this point, then I would probably talk to him about, different tools and different avenues that will still get him to the same goal, because when you're in that, phase of getting bad news and all that, you get kind of hazy, and you do need somebody to clear it up for you. But I would talk to him about that. And maybe his goal was to be an AFROTC, be an officer and all that. Then we're looking for more direct routes to find him. Maybe, he goes to Army routes, or he goes to OCS and does the Navy. Or maybe he wants to serve in some capability. Maybe we push him towards government contracting and get him a nice, GS job. And he's taking it in. And maybe, that might be a really good option as well. Go for it.
When you get a second, Wade, can I retouch on the subject a little bit?
Please do.
Actually thinking about this from experience. I was going to say that with what Wade was talking about, that reminds me of when I was trying to get into the Air Force Academy throughout my junior and senior year of high school. It was a really, really tough process because I had worked so hard for it with my GPA, my physical fitness, and all of that. I'd gotten my congressional recommendations, done all my interviews with my ALL, blah, 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 blah. And when I did my interview for Congressman Horsford with the board that was there, I left quite the impression on them, and they were like, we can help you out in any way possible. And I thought I had it made. But when it came time for appointments, they dropped the heavy news on me about a week before appointments were being announced that I was being turned away. And honestly, that was a pretty heavy thing to have to face, especially, I mean, I know it's probably not the same as this person that we're talking about with the peanut allergy and all that, but I had remembered when I had gone to like an actual Air Force recruiter before starting the whole process with the academy and all that it's important to have these backup plans so you can still achieve your dreams, even though may not be the initial route you desire or the one you are planning to take. It's always important to have that backup option to make things still possible. Sure, it just may take a little bit more time or even maybe a little easier or more difficult. And honestly, with how my route has been going through ROTC and all that versus the academy, it's sure the academy is likely something I'll never experience other than maybe ODTs and all that. But at the end of the day, the dream is still accomplishable. So sure, you may have to take the alternate route, but like Wade said, it's always important to have that backup plan. And sure, it'll be hurtful and discouraging, but you can't just give up. It's important to keep moving forward. And even if you can't achieve that specific dream, there are still other things that are possible despite how bad things may seem.
Yeah. And you always have to keep that. So even, I'm about to commission next month and I'll probably start flying within the next 6 months. Even I still have a plan B of like, oh snap, what if I lose an eyeball in the next 6 months and I can't fly? I still have a plan B that I will be extremely satisfied with. I would probably let myself be devastated for a day, 5 days. But then, if it doesn't matter, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't let it stress you for more than 5 days. That saying, you still need to keep those plan Bs and tools to hit your life goals, no matter where you're at or how successful you are.
Right. It's you can allow yourself to hurt and grieve a little bit, but like Sylvester Stallone said in Rocky, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Cool. So Justin, given that scenario, because it sounds like they got the things. So being a professional counselor, you kind of understand the scenario. This kid's just kind of sitting down, like kind of depressed. I'm sure you've seen this in your fair share of your experience. How would you formulate that? Like, cause I mean, the cloud, everything's in the cloud, like all the right words are in the cloud, but is there a technique that you would utilize in order to effectively let this kid know that everything's going to work out?
Oh yeah, of course. Like they mentioned, having that backup plan, and then I would further that while helping them achieve that goal. Like, hey, do you have anything else you would like to do? Like you said, the GS side is a perfect way to serve, and you can still achieve a lot and serve your country. Trying to pick them up, I know it's rough, but being along with them on that journey and helping them out along the way until they get better or something I would personally do.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. Like it's a knockout. These are hard. These are uncomfortable conversations, but we have a cadre have basics, right? First, it's not a waste of time. You learned something about yourself. Even though you were working hard doing PT, trying to get your health up, you learned something about yourself. Do not sit there and think that this is a waste of time. Throw that out now, right? That's the first thing I would say. 2, that again, maybe other services might be able to help you out. So look at other services. If you truly want to be in uniform and serve, then it shouldn't matter which one you want to wear. But if it does matter to that point, like you all alluded to, there's civilian contractor work where I don't wear the uniform, but I do the mission, right? I'm a GS this, I'm a contractor that. I still am hand in hand with this thing and getting the job done. So give them some hope and give them a direction and then push them forward. And that usually they'll process it, but they'll get out of the abyss quicker knowing that what they did, like, wait a minute, that's right. I did learn something about myself and I have a vector. So it's not as bad as I thought it was. Okay. And I'm going to move out of the abyss. Good. Okay. So this next question is let's start with, I want to figure out what Ulrich knows. The field is asking, what exactly does the Air Force look for when getting a security clearance? Now we all know this, but Ulrich, we'll see. We finna see.
Security clearance.
If you don't, security clearance. Hey, he came into your office, your cadre today.
Yeah.
This person, Cadet Snuffy, came into your office and they want to know.
So From the knowledge that has been passed down to me, they basically look for your past interactions on social media, posts you've made, things like that. And it's just about like they look for the type of people you affiliate with. So if you're making posts about like, I don't know, making threats towards this kind of thing, or if you're posting information that not everybody is supposed to know, that's going to be an automatic deterrent. That's like the big thing that I know for sure. And they also have to do, from what I forget who I heard from specifically the other day, but like you have to go through interviews and they have to test to see if you can be trusted and all that to basically keep what certain people aren't supposed to know to the people who are supposed to know.
Okay, cool. Wait, what you got? Will you ask something to add on that? You've been through one of these things.
Yeah. You want secret or top secret or both?
So let's go with the baseline.
Okay. Well, for the secret in ROTC, your NCF crew, they'll pass you the admin and paperwork, what you have to fill out. And you have to go to the Equips website. And you basically fill out any pertinent information that involves you, your address, your social, your passport, foreign contacts, if you have land or if your family has land in foreign countries, if you know any, or if you are in relation with any like foreign bodies of government, those kind of things, because they want to be aware. Or if you have family that's like from another country and they have extensive ties, then you have to list that. And then you have to give down some references, people from your place of work or school that can vouch on you, and they'll call them. So put down somebody that you trust, somebody that I think is, you have to have known them for 4 or more years. And then they'll call them to get just a background reference on who you are as a person, if everything that you say is correct. And then they may call you for a phone interview and clear up a couple of questions. Like me, when I went through my secret, you have to put down at any previous jobs if you've been written up or counseled for anything. Me, I used to work at Lowe's, and I got written up one time because some guy just walked out. I was a cashier. He just walked out with like a handful of goods, and I didn't like say anything or stop him. So they wrote me up, even though I'll argue against it. It's not my responsibility to be the security manager of the building.
That's fair. You're not a security monitor or a manager.
I'll never get.
That's fair.
I'm not going to get shanked for some
write it up.
Some rakes and shovels. But they'll ask you those things, and I wrote down one of those. And if you have something that's a little more extensive like that, personal issues, foreign contacts or land, they will call you and ask you questions on those for an interview. So be prepared to answer them. But when you're coming up to that, after you come back for field training and you contract, like everybody's family situation is different. But start asking your parents, hey, what are our family contacts like? Can you get me on a passport and my social security? Can you give me all these things and like have them ready so that you can meet this deadline and not bust it and then get in trouble? But that's the basics of it. And then if you need to go into an in-person interview, usually doesn't happen for secret, but that's the process. And then you get your fingerprints done. You go to some local fingerprint scanner, like a mail UPS or whatever, and they give you fingerprints, and that's pretty much it. Then you just submit it and wait for it to go through. But all cadets have to pass that security clearance, and if you do not get one, you cannot commission your ROTC or at all.
So the overall, which is good, the overall point and purpose is trust. And that's what you guys would tell that cadet right away. Like, what is it looking for? I need to be able to trust you. So I'm going to ask for all this information. And this information better be savvy up to your knowledge, right? If there's something that I find out that you've concealed, I'm going to be poking at that. And I'm going to be trying to check your integrity here. Because at the end of the day, I need to be able to trust you with this information. So yeah, I'm going to ask things about your background. And depending on how high the clearance is and what you need to know, I'm going to dig deeper into your past. I'm going to look into the people who live to the left and to the right of you, bottom, top, right? I'm going to look around and get a 360 picture of you. Right. So I'm looking at your social media, too. What do you post? Oh, you sitting here posting Russian sympathy. OK, that's a concern for me. Right. I have an issue. Right. You're liking posts from Hitler. Right. Like, oh, OK, that's a concern for me. Even if you click the like button, that is you writing it. That's how they consider it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we look at your social media footprint. We look at who you associate with. So if you kicking it with those who are cool with certain ideologies like overthrowing the government, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I need to be able to trust that you will keep that information that you need to yourself and not go and leaking it to others. So, yep, you guys got it down.
Can I add a funny story on that one?
Yeah, what's up?
I guess 2 of them, but as you go through the process, as you're coming through ROTC, try and like clean up your app too, and like your internet footprint and the stupid stuff that you do on there as well. The social media one is a big one. So like make your social medias private if there's things that you don't want to see, but chances are they'll still see it. Even the people that you follow, like don't follow, Chinese Bitcoin cyber hacker 123 on your Instagram accounts, because they're going to look at all of them. Start to clean up your social medias, anything that you post, and maybe you're a bit frivolous with the underwear model pictures or whatever. Clean those up, unfollow people. There's stories of cadets. One of the I know a cadet that he was one of those sexy underwear model pictures, and he goes in for his top secret clearance, and they smack a picture right down on the table and say, "What is this?" And
God, it's me.
I can only imagine how embarrassing that must be.
No,
That's me. I mean,
the family jewel stay in the family. Let's keep it that way. Yeah, that's all I got on that.
God.
Yeah, hey, look, man. No, I think I told Ballesteros this story. One of my friends, coworkers, Justin, I think you might have known him. He found out that he was adopted. Via his investigation.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, he found out he was adopted.
Yes, and the crazy thing is that he previously had a Yankee White clearance, working with the president on their comm team, and found out later and couldn't get cleared for us, which is crazy.
Yeah, he told me that story. Was like,
and to add
what's up?
Oh yeah. No, I was just gonna say to add to those guys, like this, as one of the many hats I do wear, security is one of them. And this security is not a one-time thing. This is ongoing. That's the part of the process is continuous evaluation or continuous vetting.
Yep.
So anything with that means anything that is posted or anything that happens in your life will get come to light as financial, mental stability. A lot of, depending on what clearance you have, they will pull for numerous incidents that happen. The security office will be notified. So it's not a one-time thing; it's continuous. So
yep. So yeah, they get there. They will pivot in there and find what they need to find, and you might not even know that it's a thing. So, like you said. You said, security, good on you, Justin. Good on you. Security is a continuous process, and good on you. Hey, man, start doing that maintenance, that cleanup right now. Like once you get into ROTC or one of these, you plan on going into these government organizations, you need to look inside yourself, because they're gonna look inside, right, and they're gonna figure out, okay, what does this do or do that truly about? That's good. So they will find out what they need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So for those who have questions or concerns or whatever, you want to ask the crew a question, leave your comments on the YouTube. You might just hear your comments on the show. We will answer your questions, but those were questions from the field.
You are listening to the For the People Hypercast show.